better we'll start freshly. Okay. I don't explain one by one. I will explain just titles only. Before I started, what is DHCP? Okay. So we in the part of this server and services kind of stuff. What is peer-to-peer? Okay. What is server and client? What is workgroup and domain? What is Active Directory? These four things we discussed earlier. Okay. So peer-to-peer, client and server. And also we discuss what is the service. So what is the use of server? It should provide a service, right? What are the different servers based on what service it is providing? Based on what service it is providing. Okay, server and service. Okay, so we call a server as a particular server based on what service it is providing. Example, web server, file server, DHCP server, DNS server, domain controllers, mail servers, storage servers, web like a database servers, whatever it is. So based on what service it is providing, so based on that, we call that server as a server. To make a one server, to become a server, or to make a one server, we need to install a server related operating systems. Okay, in the server operating systems, yeah, either by installing built-in features or a built-in role, or by installing a package or an application, then that server become a particular service server. Okay, so for example, Windows servers operating systems are there, Linux, Unix, other server operating systems. And the normal hardware is not suitable. Normal desktop hardware is not much suitable for a server running purpose, because server has to run 24/7, require large amount of data storages, and high speed network communication is required. So then best suitable hardware and then internal hardware components are important, as well as the external appearance, or maybe a based on the connectivity. So there is a tower server, rack servers, and blade servers. Okay, so what is a data center? Means generally when you hear a data center, about a server related data centers, it is having a servers like a rack server, blade server, or tower servers. What it is? It's a data center contains first of all servers. In the server, it runs softwares. On the server, we run a software or a server related thing, server related application. Software means server related applications. Okay. Next, storage devices. We have a different type of storage devices and storage content like NAS and storages, iSCSI storages, or SAS storages. We have networking components. We have like a router switches, FC switches, fiber optic connection, wired connections. Okay, so like that, networking related concepts are there. Okay, so cabling, so network cabling, power cabling, and we have to maintain the environment. So like a cooling system, power supply, backup power supply. These are the things in the data center. What is the data center monitoring? Monitoring all aspect, like a monitoring the server, monitoring the storage devices, monitoring the networking components, monitoring the physical environment. It also comes under data center monitoring. And also we discuss about a work group domain. What is work group? What is domain? So very important. Only one point I will tell. That is, work group is a decentralized administration. Domain is a centralized administration. In domain, we have a central server is there, that is called a domain controller. In work group, every PC by default it is a work group PCs only. Okay. Next, what is a domain? A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. What is an active directory? What is an active directory? Active directory is a database. Active Directory as a database stores information about users, computers, groups, services, and resources. And Active Directory authenticate users and computers when they log into domain, or you can say like this: Active Directory authenticate users. This is not users, it's users. That's a mistake. So Active Directory authenticate users when they log into domain computer. Okay. So users in the domain called a domain users. Users in the computers in the domain is called a domain computers, right? When the user is log into the log into a domain computer or into the domain. So who is authenticating? Your domain controller, which contains your Active Directory database. Okay. So Active Directory database name is ntds.dit and authentication protocols are Kerberos and LDAP. Okay. Active Directory domain services is a name. It is another name for Active Directory from 2008 server. Okay. Azure AD Azure is Microsoft public cloud, and you want a Active Directory services from Azure cloud, you can get it. Okay. So authentication, authorization, legal lines, broadband lines. There's a few things we discussed earlier. You can see. So finally, what subject we have to start? That is DHCP. If start DHCP and starting only, then it is a better way. Not it is. Guys, look at this is a DHCP server. What is a DHCP server? DHCP is a protocol, dynamic host configuration protocol, used by DHCP server to assign an IP address to the client computers, or client devices. Because from DHCP server, not only a computers or laptops, for your mobile phones, laptops, um, tablets, your smart TV, smart LEDs, smart plugs, this kind of stuff also getting an IP address from DHCP server. Okay, so here it is, dynamic host configuration protocol, port number 6768. DHCP server assign IP address to the clients automatically. Client means it is a client devices. Guys, you have a laptop or a desktop. Okay, so you have a desktop or a laptop. You can assign IP address manually or automatically. You guys all know how to assign a IP address manually, right? So like go to the control panel, go to network and internet, network and sharing center, change adapter settings. Okay, you have to go to this much length. I'm canceling this one. Cancel. I open same window directly. I go to run ncpa.cpl. Same window we can able to open with the run ncpa.cpl. Okay, so this is a connected adapter, so I'm not touching it. If I touch something, if I done something mistake, okay, so we will disconnect it. So I will try on some other adapter. So see it is. This is VMnet to another adapter. So details. So I am trying to get an IP address from DHCP server. Of course, I'm not getting. So how to assign IP address manually? Go to properties. Okay. Go to this properties. IPv4 Internet Protocol version 4. IPv4 properties. Yes, this is a window. Get here. The obtain IP address automatically means you want to get an IP address from DHCP server. You want to assign manually means use following IP address, and you have to assign IP address here. So just you have to type what IP address you want it, then you can type it like this 10.10.11.100. something like that. So like you are, I don't mind about what is. One second, just a wait. Sorry. Okay. So also you can tell who is your DNS server, for example, like this. So that is your DNS server. What is 8.8.8? Maybe if you see in some computers, their DNS server address is 8.8.8, 4.4.4 kind of stuff. Once whenever you don't have any local DNS or a DNS server, proper DNS you're not getting. So then we can use this ID, guys. Some people say it is a default DNS servers. Exactly, it's not a default DNS server. It search your nearest DNS servers. Okay, search for a DNS server easily. So if you don't have your local DNS server is not functioning properly, this will work. Again, this is how to assign a IP address manually. So what is your IP address and subnet mask, default gateway and preferred DNS. After that one, guys, sometimes you may not require to assign default gateway and preferred DNS. You know the IP address of default gateway preferred DNS, you can assign it. It purely depends upon network and idea. Like you have a DNS server, you put a DNS server IP. You have a default gateway, you put a default gateway. Okay. So this is manually assigning a IP address. Understand, guys? Up to here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, understood.
Okay. Next one is this is manually assigning an IP address. So if you assign IP address manually, if you assign an IP address manually, this IP address cannot be changed automatically. Like, so I assign an IP address manually like this. Okay, so this is property details. See it is DHCP enable no means assign IP address manually. This is my IP address. Now I disconnected my computer from this network and I connected to different. I went to my office and I connected to their network. So my IP address is not changed automatically. So I have to ask them like, what is your IP address? What is your network? And I have to change according to their network. For example, their network is different. So they are using some other network. Maybe they are using a 11 dot network, or maybe some 172. Okay, put it. 172, 17, 10. So this is their network. For example, just for example. So then what I have done, so I assigned according to that one. Assigned according to there. So again, I have to change manually. That is the one thing. Second one is this IP address taken already? How you know? There is some 50, 60 computers. Are you going to each and every computer? Is this IP address taken already? Or maybe you have to go through some list. This IP address is taken already. So you cannot use this one. You can use this one kind of stuff. Okay. So you change an IP address. You have to change manually. So what is the issue with this one? So every time again you came to home, again you have to change your IP address according to your home network. It's a big challenges, right? Second. Okay. So that's okay. Next one is number of devices increases. In office also, we have 50 computers, 100 computers, 200 computers. We can't go to each and every PC and we can't assign IP address for individual PCs. There is a possibility of entering wrong addresses. So assign an IP address. This is a possibility. Actually, it is 172.16. Instead of 16, I put a 17 by mistake. Or maybe it is not 10, maybe it is 11. Okay. So there is a possibility of IP address is same IP address I can use. Second one is, and conflicts. What is a conflict? More than one device you assign a same IP. I have to my laptop for other computer also, both are having same IP. Okay, I got to know what is a network. So I am trying to assign an IP address by accidentally both are become same IP address. Or maybe I assigned IP address wrongly. Then problem, right? So that is a one thing. So not everyone knows how to assign IP address. I know how to assign IP address does not mean everyone knows. Like my sister knows, my brother knows, maybe my mother, my father knows how to assign an IP address. There is a not even a technical person, means even a person from the computer's background may not know how to assign IP address. Right? You cannot assign so in a different devices, the two different devices, it's difficult to assign. In our home, we have a smart TVs nowadays. Smart TV will work based on a internet. I want to assign an IP address. It's very difficult. Okay. Again, you have to learn how to assign IP address kind of stuff. Your mobile phones, printers, Wi-Fi printers are there, network printers are there. It's not much easy to assign an IP address to the printers. Smart LEDs, smart plugs. So this kind of stuff came into market, then it is very difficult to assign an IP address. Okay. Smart refrigerators, smart ACs also came. So it is not much easy to assign an IP address. What is the solution? DHCP server. You assign an IP address to your adapter manually. So that is called as static IP. So why static? The IP address won't change automatically when the network is changed. Okay, it's a stable IP address. That is called a static IP. Then what is a dynamic IP address? What is dynamic IP address? IP address, you got an IP address from DHCP server. This is IP address, I got it currently. Okay, so from my DHCP server, in case, just in case, if I, so sorry, if I went to some place, means I changed my network, I went to office. Based on my office, their network, I will get a different IP address. If I go to my hometown, I'll get a different kind of IP address. Okay, different kind of IP address. Why it is like that? Because yeah, based on the network, you don't need to think what network they are using and all. So through DHCP server, we are getting which DHCP server there, which network I connected in that network. If you have a DHCP server, from DHCP server, you will get an IP address. IP address can change frequently based on changing of network or maybe based on your connectivity. It depends upon your DHCP configuration and you change the network, IP address changes automatically. So you need to go to change your IP address manually again. Less possibility or no possibility of entering IP address wrongly or conflicts. Conflict will be resolved automatically. Everyone not required to know how to assign IP address. For example, at my hometown, we have a laptop. My nephew using a laptop. There is a two mobile phones. Okay, so automatically, and there is a TV and there is a printer. So one, two, three, four, 5 devices plus one more additional phone is also there, means six, maybe five, six or 7 devices are there. So we don't assign any IP address to them. Okay. So it is not required to know everybody know how to assign an IP address. Simply the by default DHCP you are getting an IP address. Only thing is you have to put an IP your configuration. You have to put your configuration in DHCP mode. So this is a DHCP enabled no means it is a static IP. Yes, and an IP address. Okay. If you put a obtain IP address, automatically obtain IP address automatically, obtain DNS server address automatically. So when you put like this, meaning is you want to get an IP address from DHCP server. Okay, this is if you want to get a IP address from DHCP server, very simple. Go to your adapter. Okay. By default, these settings are there. If in case you change the settings, you have to change it back to dynamic. Okay. So obtain IP address automatically means you'll get IP address automatically from DHCP server. But when you select this first option, you can see this tab is there. If you select the second option, the tab is not appear. What is the tab represent? What is that this tab represent? Alternate configuration. If you fail to get IP address from DHCP server, then follow this alternate configuration. But it is, you want to get IP address from DHCP server, means you obtain IP address automatically. Okay. If you fail to get IP address from DHCP server, then follow this alternate configuration. Here two things are there. If you fail to get IP address from DHCP server, system assign IP address automatic private IP address. Assign an IP address from APIPA range, automatic private IP address range only. Or you can use some static configuration. You can use some static configuration. If you fail to get IP address from DHCP, either you will get IP address from automatic IP address range. APIPA range means 169.254 dot something that kind of IP address you will get it. If you don't want APIPA address, you want some manual IP address, you can select user configured. It means obtain IP address automatically, means get IP address from DHCP. If you fail to get IP address from DHCP and use this alternate configuration. Or if I select this one, it means use APIPA range only. I use APIPA range. This is by default settings I'm using. So now I should get an IP address from DHCP server. Even I don't get it because I didn't connect any DHCP server to this adapter. This is the VMware VMnet2, and of course we have some arrangement is there that is also disabled. I got a APIPA address, meaning is I failed to get a IP address from DHCP server. How I know it is APIPA? Automatic configuration IPv4 address. Okay, and the series is 169.254 dot something means 169.254 you are seeing, it means you got a APIPA address. So you are failed to get IP address from DHCP server. Just to know it, already we have seen that kind of stuff in a first day of class only or second day of class for you, but now it is good. So this is a neat and clean IP address. You can get this is a DHCP enabled. You got IP address and default gateway, DHCP address and DNS address, lease obtained and lease expiry. So this is correct IP address you are getting, correct way you are getting. And this is not working. This is a kind of error it is. Okay, of course. Problem with a problem is a either it is DHCP server related issue. The point is we should not that not the APIPA point. The point is so you don't require to know how to assign IP address manually. You will get an IP address from your DHCP server. DHCP server gives or assign an IP address to different type of devices, right? Your printers, you don't require to assign manually. It is very difficult to assign manually. You are getting an IP address automatically. Your laptops, mobile phones, tablets, smart TVs, smart LEDs, smart printers, kind of. Okay, there is smart devices nowadays everywhere. Okay, people are using to communicate or connect to these devices. We need a IP address. How to get a how to assign an IP address to it? It is using DHCP server. And you may get a doubt, sir, we don't use any DHCP server at my home. Then these devices are not having any IP address. Not like that, guys. If you are having a Wi-Fi routers, the Wi-Fi router act like a DHCP server. Okay, guys, up to now, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will explain this small thing and I will give you a 5 minutes break because DHCP is very easy to tell an answer. If you fail to give an answer for DHCP, that is big problem. Okay, so what is DHCP? You can easily give an answer. What is DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP server assign IP address to the clients automatically. We can assign an IP address to a device or a computer manually and automatically. If you assign IP address manually, it is a static IP address. If you assign an IP address, if device got an IP address automatically, it is a dynamic IP address. Manually giving an IP address to device, it may lead, you can give an IP address manually, okay, and but IP address do not change automatically if you change the network. Okay, so number of devices increases, difficult to assign. Okay, we don't. So what is a DHCP? Very simple answer. It is DHCP Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP port number 6768. Already I told. If you can able to tell, you can tell. DHCP server assign an IP address to the clients automatically. Client means client devices. DHCP server assign an IP address to the clients automatically. Client devices. We can assign an IP. Assigning IP address is manual way and automatic way. Manual means so we manually assign an IP address to a device as per our network, as per the current network, as per the current network. Automatic means device get an IP address directly from DHCP server, that is called a dynamic IP. That is called a dynamic IP. Again, what DHCP server? DHCP server assign an IP address to devices. Those are DHCP client manner. This is enough for a first answer. If they want more, Then you can explain difference between manual and automatic and how it is assigned this part. Okay. So DHCP server here, how it is assigned, guys. This is just listen. Just try to listen this one. I have a DHCP server and I have a DHCP client. APC, BPC, DPC are configured obtain IP address automatically. DHCP enabled S type. DHCP enabled S type means obtain IP address automatically for a obtain IP address automatically for a APC, BPC and DPC. What about CPC? I assigned IP address manually. For example, you can see this is manually I assigned an IP address. DHCP enabled no and I assigned IP address manually. Use following IP address. Okay, use following IP address means it's a manually assigned IP address. Okay. So APC, BPC, DPC, we try to get IP address from DHCP server. In a DHCP server, we have a scope. Scope, like a very simple guys. You are in a queue line. You went to some place, right? Like a movie tickets. There is a serial numbers are there, right? You pay my amount, you will get a serial number, for example. Or maybe you are in a queue line, then you are getting some token numbers. My token is started with the number is 10. Okay, for example, IP address is 192.168.1.10. So this is the token number one. First one person came, I give 10. Second person came, I give 11. Third person came, then 12, 14, 15, 16. How many I can able to give? So how many, the range I have means I have a 10 to 110 means only 100 tokens I have. How many people I can give the token? 100 people only, right? Similarly, for 100 devices, I can give IP address. The first device came, like a first one is APC is asking DHCP server, I want an IP address. Again, APC asking DHCP server, I want a IP address. So I have a first available, that is available. I given 192.168.1.10. Then BPC came up. Then BPC asking an IP address. I want an IP address. Then it is given 192.168.1.11. Okay, don't see that color thing. Okay, 1.13, 1.11 kind of stuff. CPC. CPC is already configured manually. So CPC don't ask any IP address from the DHCP server, not required. Why? Because CPC is already configured with some IP address. Then DPC do not have any IP address. Then DPC ask DHCP server, I want an IP address. Then DHCP server give the next IP address 192.168.1.12. So example, we'll go to the DPC and how IP address is there. So we can see the DHCP server given IP address to DPC is 192.168.1.12 and subnet mask and a default gateway. DHCP server address means our DHCP server address and DNS server address. If you in case that is same device as a DNS server, then same address you will get it. And lease duration means when IP address is given for first time and lease expiry. Lease duration, I just type a lease duration only, but there is a finishing part is there. That is lease duration means lease obtained, lease expiry. So when it is will be expire, when lease is obtained, when it will be expired. Okay. So where is this DHCP server? So your Wi-Fi router is act like a DHCP server. Maybe you can install a Windows server for a DHCP purpose. or maybe you can put a Linux server or Unix server for a DHCP purpose. Means you can separately, you can install a server for that one, or you can use your, in a home, we are using our Wi-Fi router as a DHCP server. Okay, guys, and there is a one color thing is given in orange color, meaning is the CPC is already configured with 192.168.1.11. If in case BPC is 1.11, CPC is 1.11, means conflict will occur. Means conflict will occur. So what is your DHCP server? When conflict is, when it is sense a conflict is occurred. When it is sense conflict is occur, then what it will do, it immediately change this, remove this IP address and assign a new IP address. Assign new IP address. Okay, like a 1.13. So this is how, what is a DHCP? What is DHCP server? It provide an IP address or it assign an IP address to the clients. Which clients it is? There are DHCP clients only. Okay, obtain IP address automatically mode. If a device is already assigned with an IP address, so that is not belongs to us. Okay, so manual assign DHCP client. Actually, I want to split in the morning. I want to split this DHCP into two parts. Now we don't have a time, so then I will explain this DORA process also. Guys, understand up to now? So what is the, how DHCP server given IP address to the clients?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So as I said earlier, server and client. Server provide a service, client access the service. And then I said that is not true because the reverse one is there, because client request for a server and server responds to the client. Actually, client has to send a request and server responds according to it. Okay, the same story here it is. This is the server, means your DHCP server, and this is the client is DHCP. DHCP client. Now, this client does not have an IP address. Client don't have an IP address. Client not having any IP address. Then it, and the client don't know where is the DHCP server. Okay, you have to go to DHCP server and get an IP address, but you don't know where is a DHCP server. First one, you don't know where is a DHCP server. You don't know, you don't have any IP address, and you want to get an IP address from DHCP, and you don't know where is a DHCP server. Then what this client will do? It use itself like a source IP address like this. 0.0.0.0 as a source IP, and as a destination IP, the 255 like this. Okay, this is two things. Okay, source IP, destination. In a communication, we need a source IP, destination IP, but client don't have any IP address, so then it assign itself like a source IP and a destination IP. So what is this destination IP meaning is broadcast. Broadcast. Okay, this is a broadcast IP. So what client is doing? It send a packet name called discover, DHCP discover. DHCP, don't put anything. The name is discover. Name is DHCP discover packet. So the client broadcast means send to everyone. Client broadcast to everyone like this. DHCP client sent to DHCP. Everyone, even you don't know who is a DHCP server. It broadcasts to everyone. It broadcasts to everyone. It's a very light color, so that's why I'm putting. It broadcasts to everyone, those who are connected in the network. Okay, it broadcasts to everyone, those who are connected in the network. So why it is broadcasting? Because it does not have any IP address, and also it does not know who is the DHCP server. So it broadcasts to everyone. It broadcasts to everyone. So of course, in everyone, one of the machine, at least one of the machine is DHCP server. It can be a computer or a router or anything. One of the thing is your DHCP server, right? Your DHCP server responds, understand what is your request. So your DHCP server understand what is your request. What is your request? It's a DHCP. You're sending DHCP discovery packet by telling I don't have any IP address and I want IP address. Okay, so exactly say, are you DHCP server? Are you DHCP server? Like that, it is asking everyone. So DHCP server understand your request. Yes, I am the DHCP server. I am the DHCP server. Okay, I have an IP address. Do you want this IP address? Do you want this IP address? Like that, it will send a request. It will send a offer. So DHCP server receive the DHCP discover packet. Okay, and it see the packet and see, and it will reply like this. DHCP offer. It will reply with the DHCP offer packet. DHCP offer packet. So I am a DHCP server. I have an IP address. For example, like this, you can go to this. I have an IP address. Do you want the IP address? Like that. Then, but problem is the client don't have any IP address. So obviously we cannot reach only client, that it will send to everyone. But client will understand. How client will understand? Based on the MAC address. Okay, so DHCP server send to everyone, but client will accept the packet, of course. What packet it is sending? Offer. I will explain it again, guys, don't worry. And client receive an offer. Client receive an offer and immediately it will send a request. Same broadcast only, but it will send a request. Yes, I want this IP address. Whenever the DHCP server received a request, the DHCP server send an acknowledgement. Take this IP address. And it configure the IP address to client. So that is here is one way I have written like this. Okay. So again, I will write here, guys. Whether you understand or not, I will tell very simple way. So DHCP use DORA process. What is a DORA process or a DHCP process? The question is, what is DHCP process to assign an IP address? Or the question is, what is DORA process? Explain DORA process. These are the questions. Okay. So what is a DORA? It means it's a discover. What is DORA process? DHCP use DORA process. DHCP server use DORA process to give IP address to the client. Okay. So client got an IP address from DHCP server using DORA process. You can say like that. Client got an IP address from DHCP server using DORA process. Okay. So what is this DORA? D represent discover, O represent offer, R represent request, A represent acknowledgement. So how it is works, we'll see. Client don't have an IP address, right? So client discover a server. First of all, client discovers server. Discover. Client discover the server. Server give an IP offer. Will tell I have an IP address. So do you want this IP address? So server offer a IP address to the client. Server offer IP address to the client. The client send a request. Yes, I want this IP address. I want this IP address. And finally, the server give an acknowledgement, send an acknowledgement to the client and giving this is the IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server address, and DNS server address, and lease duration. Important is here lease duration configuration. Okay, so this is called a DORA process. What is D? Discover. D represent discover. O represent offer. Or request. A acknowledgement. Okay. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Okay, guys. So this is called a DORA process. Personally, we have a practical lot of things are there, but I am try to tell only thing is what is a DHCP, what is DHCP, and what is DHCP server, what DHCP server will do, what is the way of assigning IP address, both manual and automatic, their positive and negative things. Okay, and how DHCP server works. DHCP server having a scope of IP addresses, and DHCP clients will get IP address from DHCP server from that scope only, means the range only. Okay, so once it is assigned an IP address to the PC, okay, it will shows IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server address, DNS server address, lease obtained, and lease expiry to the adapter. And DHCP enabled, yes, it shows DHCP enabled, yes also. And the DHCP server and a device with manually configured, both are not communicate, means not communicate means, okay, there is no DHCP relationship between DHCP server and a manually configured devices. In our home, our Wi-Fi router act like a DHCP server. In some organization, they use a separate DHCP servers, Windows servers and Linux servers. Next, your DHCP server, your DHCP lease, your DHCP and client, how the client is getting an IP address from DHCP server. Client send a discovery packet to discover where is DHCP server. So DHCP server offer an IP address to client. The client request for an IP address to the DHCP server, and DHCP server send an acknowledgement. So then client is configured with the IP address. So this process we call it as a DORA process. DHCP process or a DORA process we can call it. Okay, DHCP server use, DHCP server and client use this DORA process. Okay, so again, What is DORA? Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So if it is you may not get question, but please, maybe in the future, it is very helpful. Maybe now or later. So do not think like now they don't ask. They may ask. So don't worry. Okay, compulsory read. So what is DORA process or a DHCP process? What is DHCP process? DORA process. What is DORA process? Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. The client discover the server. Server send an offer to client. The client send a request to the server. Server send an acknowledgement to the client. It is more plain, but what is DORA? Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Then better to explain like this. Okay. So first of all, tell what is DORA, then explain like this. What is DHCP client discovers DHCP server by sending DHCP server discover packet. DHCP server receive a discover packet and send a DHCP offer to IP offer to DHCP client. DHCP client send a DHCP request to the DHCP server for an IP address, and DHCP server send an acknowledgement with the IP address configuration. So send an acknowledgement with that one client get configured with the IP address. So not only IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server address, DNS server address, lease obtain and lease expiry. Guys, this is of course this is a DHCP client and manual kind of stuff pictures. Last one in this DHCP row, it is a APIPA, automatic private IP address. Already you know this one. So if you are failed to get IP address from DHCP server, your client will assign an IP address with this range, APIPA range. It is 169.254. Anything. These two things can be anything, but starting to or 169.254. What I said, if you are unable to get IP address from DHCP server, your system itself has an IP address in a APIPA range. So when you see the first two octets 169.254 and DHCP enable S, meaning is you are failed to get IP address from DHCP server. Okay, so first of all, go to your DHCP server, check DHCP service availability, connectivity. First of all, you have to check DHCP server availability, connectivity, and this range, and restart the DHCP services. If possible, restart the DHCP server or DHCP services. And finally, first of all, make sure that DHCP working fine and all connections are good. Then come to the client and check the IP address. In your client, still IP address is not changing from APIPA address. So you should get a new IP address. You are not getting new IP address. Still it is showing 169.254. In other hand, you change the network. So I connect a laptop here in this network. So I went to my office. I should get my office related IP address, but it is not changing. Okay. Now again, we'll see. Okay. So what we can do, we can disable enable the adapter. If your IP address is not changing, even you change the network. Okay. Your IP address is not changing from your APIPA to normal IP address, even though your DHCP server is working fine. So in a client side, sometimes it will be like a little lazy kind of stuff to update IP address. So what we can do, we can disable enable the adapter, or you can go to command prompt ipconfig space /release to remove the old IP address. ipconfig space /release to remove the old IP address, ipconfig space /renew to get a new IP address from DHCP. I've seen one question in some interview question, how to flash IP address. There is a no question like a how to flash your DNS previous DNS queries or cookies kind of stuff is a ipconfig space /flush DNS. Flush DNS is there. That is a flush command. And it is similarly like you want to remove your old IP address. Want to remove your old IP. That IP is compulsory automatic IP address. Static IP addresses we cannot remove by like this command. By using this command, we cannot remove static IP addresses. Dynamic IP addresses will be removed and renewed again. ipconfig space /release will remove the automatic IP addresses from the NICs. And when you give a renew means it will try to get an IP address. Automatically it will try to get an IP address from DHCP server. That's it about your DHCP. Guys, anybody having any questions? I took a little longer, guys, but important is what is DHCP, what is DHCP server, what is DHCP server will do, what is the meaning of static and dynamic IP addresses or a manual and automatic IP addresses, what is the advantages of using DHCP server, what DHCP server will do, and how DHCP server works, and what is DORA process, to know better what is the DORA process and what is APIPA. Okay, so its whole concept is only 10 to 15 minutes only. By explanation 2-3 times, it is taken more time. Guys, any doubt or anything?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir,